So that brings us to our first exercise of the module. And this one is, I think, pretty straightforward. We've been looking at the relationship between country music and race. And now I'm asking you to run a crosstab between race and rap. So the respondent's preference for rap music. Include the chi-square statistical test and Phi and Cramer's V. Describe the observed pattern. So again, it's that narrative. That's an important thing that you have to be able to speak to. Report whether that difference is statistically significant. And then how would you describe the strength of the relationship between race and rap? And when you look at it, if you have a problem of an expected count less than 5, go ahead and fix that when you run it. So at this point, pause the video. And then after you're done, start it up again. And I will go over the answers. So let's take a look at the data file. We're still filtered for 1993. And the answer's in the PowerPoint deck as well. So don't skip ahead before you run it. Now I can go through the menus again, analyze descriptive statistics crosstabs. I can change country to rap. Then paste it. I could also have just copied this and typed over rap. And honestly, I think that's quicker, but just, to go through the menus one more time. So we'll run this. And we get an answer, right? But 2 cells have expected counts less than 5. And if you just look up here real quick, you can probably figure out which ones they are, right? Well, there's only 2.9% like rap music very much. And so actually our expected count here for black with the 171 times 2.9%, that ends up being a little under 5. And then certainly within the other category with only 74, that's going to give you your expected count of 2.12. So we have these two here. These 2 cells have expected counts less than 5. So, do I think it's going to completely throw off the results? Probably not. Well, I mean, I know I've seen it, right? But it's not. But you still have to address it because you still have 2 cells with expected counts less than 5. Now, the difference here is that we combined dislike it and dislike it very much in the previous example. The problem's on the other end, the other extreme this time. It's like it and like very much that need to be combined. So how do we do that? I'm going to go to transform, recode into different variables. We're going to take the country stuff out. We need to put rap in here. And so I'm going to create a variable called rap2, and this will be rap version 2, and change. I go to old and new values. Now, the range that's staying the same this time, so actually I'm going to remove all of these for now. The range that stays the same this time is going to be 2 through 5, right? Those are not changing. So those we will copy. The value that has to change is 1. We're going to convert those to 2s. So that now the variable will go 2, 3, 4, and 5. You could make the 2s into 1s and make it go 1, 3, 4, 5. It works the same. But I think the simpler thing to do is to keep the ordered categories consecutive. 2, 3, 4, 5. I can add that. Now this time I'm not going to bother doing all other values sys-miss. That's going to automatically happen anyway. But just to demonstrate that. And it's more consistent with what I did in the PowerPoint. All right, so I'll click continue and then paste. And if I come over here to my syntax, there's my new syntax. I'll run that. It should create a new variable called rap2. And again, I didn't do this in the PowerPoint, but I can do it here again. I'm copying, actually I'm going to copy the wrong one. I'm copying the values from one of the previous one. I should, I guess, take it from rap music specifically. But then if I come in here, I'm going to remove the categories that we're not using, right? The values we're not using. And I'm going to remove 1. And 2 is going to be changed to be like it and like it very much. And I have to click change. If I don't click change, it won't take. And then click OK. All right. Now, I'm going to go back over here to the syntax. because I do want you to eventually progress to the point where you're using the syntax more. If I just copy the previous syntax again, and I change wrap to wrap 2, and then I run it, I now have like it and like it very much combined. I have 0 cells with expected counts less than 5. I have a statistically significant result because this value is below 0.05. And I have a Cramer's V value. Again, this is a 4 by 3, so it's going to be Cramer's V. That is in the strong range, 0.178. Yeah. If I had mistakenly used phi, I would be concluding it's very strong. I mean, borderline very strong. But this 0.178 falls within that 0.15 to 0.25 range that would be considered strong, but not very strong. So just like country music, there was a relationship with race. Rap music also demonstrates a relationship with race. Relationship preference for rap music demonstrates a connection with race. We have one more exercise. So we've worked enough with the race variable. Let's look at the other big demographic that usually is examined. I'm going to ask you in exercise 4 to run a crosstab between sex and musicals. Include the chi-square statistical test. Again, it's the same question, just different variables. So at this point again in the video, please pause it, take a few moments to run through it, and when you're done, come back and we'll walk through it. So hopefully you had enough time to do it. I mean, really, have as much time as you want if you pause it. I'm going to go into SPSS again. Now, this time I'm not even going to bother with the menus. It's just musicals and sex. Those are the 2 variables. So I come over here to syntax. I'm going to copy my previous syntax again. I'm replacing rap with musicals. Just typing it in. And I'm replacing race with sex. And when I run this one, I have 0 cells with expected counts less than 5, so no worries there. And this is largely because with sex, we only have 2 categories, not 3. So we don't have that smaller category. Is there a difference? Well, again, you always want to look and see, even though I sort of ignored it in the previous one. But if we go back here and look, yes, there was a difference. Black respondents were much more likely to like, 3 times more likely to like rap music than white respondents. So that would be kind of the headline. So what's our headline here? Female, far more likely to like Broadway musicals than males. Even in the liking category, you've got 63% almost of females liking it very much, and less than 40% of males. Not a lot of hate on the extreme end with Broadway musicals, but you have a good chunk of men, about a third of men almost, that don't feel good about it. But there definitely seems to be the data reveal a strong preference for Broadway musicals, strong relative preference for Broadway musicals among females. We don't have to do any combining of categories in this one. There's no cells with expected counts less than 0. It's significant. It's below 0.05. Actually, to be very clear, 0.05 or below counts as statistically significant. So if you, as they say, hit the post with 0.05, that counts as significant. And here's one where you actually could pick the wrong metric and you just get it right by chance because they happen to be the same. This is still a Cramer's V situation. It's 5 by 2. It's not 2 by 2, but this is a very strong relationship, above 0.25. So that's it for the 2 sample exercises, the example that I've walked through. For crosstabs,